Ghana's Minister for Transport, and Ministers for Transport from sister African nations, from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Kingdom of Morocco, and the Republic of South Africa. The United Nations Secretary General Special Envoy for Road Safety, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, the Chair of the Kofi Annan Foundation, a representative of the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe, representative of the World Bank, representative of the Africa Transport Policy Program, Mrs. Nani Annan, Kojo Annan, and members of the Kofi Annan's family, members of the Diplomatic Corps, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to be part of the Kofi Annan Road Safety Awards, and I'm glad to be given the opportunity to deliver these brief remarks. To those of you coming from beyond our shores, I say Akwaba, our word of welcome to you. I'm confident that you're discovering that you are amongst the people who pride themselves justifiably on their sense of hospitality. This awards event, its maiden edition, is being held in commemoration of one of the truly iconic figures of modern times, the highly respected former Secretary General of the United Nations, the late Kofi Annan, that noble Ghanaian who brought such renown to our country, Ghana. A man who was an ardent believer in the capacity of the Ghanaian and African to chart his or her own course onto the path of progress and prosperity. It is in recognition of the role he played in raising awareness on the enormity of the global road safety challenge. The awards ceremony has come at a most opportune time, as globally, countries are transitioning to the new decade of action for road safety. I applaud the partnership between the Economic Commission for Africa, the United Nations Secretary General Special Envoy for Road Safety, the African Transport Policy Program, and Ghana's Ministry of Transport that has given birth to this initiative. It is my expectation that beyond the awards, key actors and governments across the continent will be motivated to develop and implement innovative and impact-driven initiatives to save lives on Africa's roads. Ultimately, that is where the change begins. I'm hopeful that we will be able to sustain this award initiative to stimulate positive feedback on our roads. Ladies and gentlemen, my support for the institutionalization of this award ceremony comes from the fact that transportation in all its modes, and for that matter, road safety, are bedrocks of national development. Indeed, Africa is the epicenter of global urbanization. The continent is undergoing rapid urban transition, with some 50% of her population expected to live in urban areas by 2030. Unfortunately, urbanization is often associated with increasing motorization and its attendant road traffic fatalities and injuries. This situation calls for creative and proactive thinking in order to arrest the negative impacts of road transport. In Ghana, the government acknowledges that the current road safety situation is not satisfactory, but we remain committed to scaling up our investment in road safety initiatives and building partnerships that will help engineer improvements. We cannot rest on our oars. We must act timely and decisively to arrest the situation. The multi-sectoral nature of road safety calls for stronger collaboration amongst all stakeholders. Last year, I constituted an interministerial committee comprising the ministers for the Interior, Transport, Roads and Highways, Communication and Digitalization, Finance, and Information to address the road safety situation and recommend measures that can be employed to reduce road traffic accidents. The committee identified a number of issues. Its key points were the indiscipline on the part of road users and funding and logistical challenges to implement fully road safety interventions. I believe this assessment represents similar happenings in our respective countries on the continent. Without innovative approaches and initiatives, we will find it difficult to save lives on Africa's roads. Road traffic accidents and the resultant deaths and injuries are a global public health issue with adverse consequences on development. We need every African alive to support our development agenda. We need the energies, creativity, and the can-do attitude of the vibrant youth to build the Africa we want. We cannot disregard the experiences of our productive force, as well as the potential of our children. Here in Ghana, I've directed our police service to adopt, amongst others, innovative and intelligent traffic management solutions, including partnerships with the private sector where necessary to increase vigorous enforcement of road traffic laws and regulations. Indeed, indiscipline and disrespect for road regulations, particularly in relation to travel speeds, driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, wearing of seatbelts, and overtaking without due care for other vehicles, need to be addressed to bring down traffic injuries and fatalities. Government remains committed to bringing reforms in the area of legislation, institutional and logistical capacity to help reverse the trend of death and injuries on our roads. It is for this reason that in 2019, 3 years ago, I gave assent to a new law that enhanced effectively the mandate of the National Road Safety Institution to ensure compliance with the road safety policies, measures, procedures, and guidelines. I'm informed that the necessary regulations, along with the review of the primary governance framework for road traffic management, are all being reviewed to respond to the changing social norms and values, and also to take on board new and best practices in the road transport sector. Ladies and gentlemen, we must treat road traffic accidents as a global pandemic and assume equally a more proactive and responsible attitude to deal with it. Increasingly, the exposure of pedestrians and motorcyclists to a risk of road traffic casualties, particularly in the urban environment, can no longer be overlooked. This situation is partly the outcome of poor planning, inadequate provision of safer access facilities to vulnerable urban road users, low levels of institutional commitment to road safety, and rising levels of indiscipline on the part of road users. This situation, in my view, is not unique to Ghana and reflects a situation, unfortunately, in other parts of the continent. It is challenging, but not a hopeless situation. My expectation is that this award ceremony would encourage our respective countries on the continent to learn from best practices and experiences around the globe to tackle the road safety situation. Recognizing the significant negative impact of road crashes around the world. The United Nations has committed itself to the realization of Sustainable Development Goal SDG number 11, which demands that governments provide access for safe, affordable, accessible, and sustainable transport systems for all by 2030. We're happy to host in Ghana this maiden edition of the Kofi Annan Road Safety Awards ceremony, and it is my fervent hope that it will spur our respective countries to develop and implement innovative initiatives to save lives on Africa's roads. I want once again to thank the Ministry of Transport and its collaborating partners, the Economic Commission for Africa, the United Nations Secretary General Special Envoy for Road Safety, and the African Transport Policy Program for putting this program together. Let us be inspired by these awards and drive positive changes in our respective countries. May God bless Mother Africa and us all. I thank you for your attention.
Road safety situation in Africa is more challenging than ever, with road traffic deaths totaling 300,000 people every year, or 650 people deaths per day. Let me repeat that. In Africa, every day, 650 people die due to road safety. And even worse, nearly half of these are vulnerable road users, such as pedestrians, school children, cyclists, motorcyclists, and it is simply not acceptable. We need to act collectively to avert this problem. Your Excellency, road safety is a development challenge that requires political will, strong leadership, commitment from the highest level of government, society, and the public at large. Yet, studies show that many African countries did not reach the goals of stabilizing and then halving road crashes by 2020, set forth in the UN Decade for Action on Road Safety, 2011-2020. Although there were many reasons for the continent's poor performance, political will, strong leadership are one of the main challenges. And that's why we are all here, to recognize that road safety is a development issue, and the UN explicitly include road safety in 2 of the 17 SDGs, and has once again set the new target of reducing road traffic deaths and injuries by at least 50% from 2021 to 2030. Without sustained action, road traffic crashes are predicted to become the 7th leading cause of death by 2030. In fact, they are the main cause of death among 15 to 29 years old. We must act now. Youth is dying because of that. Road traffic injuries and fatalities are preventable, but require concerted effort to all stakeholders and partners. And this is why also the World Bank Group, through its own transport projects and also through the African Transport Policy Program known as SSATP, provides financial and technical support to address the main road safety challenges in our client countries. To this effect, I am pleased to inform you that the SSATP, together with other development partners, is providing support to the African Union Commission in establishing the African Road Safety Observatory, ARSCO. The observatory intends to foster national and regional cooperation and generate robust body of road safety performance data. This will be used to drive evidence-based policy making and monitor African progress toward achieving the goals set out in the Decade of Action for Road Safety. Given its importance for the continent, I am pleased to confirm that under its 4th development plan, the SSATP will continue to support the observatory in the coming years. The World Bank Group recognizes the importance of leadership in addressing road safety, and in this regard, we'd like to congratulate those present today, those leaders that are making the difference in improving road safety situation in the continent. I encourage all stakeholders present here today to continue doing what is required to save lives. To conclude, Your Excellency, I would like to reaffirm the World Bank Group and SSATP commitment to support our client countries and their effort to reduce road crashes and fatalities on African roads. We'll continue working with all development partners to achieve the UN goal of reducing road traffic deaths and injuries by at least 50% by 2030. And in fact, in the case of Ghana, through the transport project that we're financing, there is already a commitment of financing on road safety. And the creation of the agency also is one of the results of this support. So together we're stronger. Together we can achieve this goal. Together we can save countless lives. Thank you very much for your attention.
The President of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Your Excellency, the Minister of Transport of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency, the UN Under-Secretary General Special Envoy for Road Safety, the Chair of the Kofi Annan Foundation, the family of Kofi Annan represented here today by Kojo, representatives of the African Union, the World Bank, ministers of South Africa, the Kingdom of Morocco, Namibia, and Nigeria, colleagues of the United Nations, the private sector, civil society, the youth, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be in Accra for the first annual Kofi Annan Road Safety Award. It is befitting that the maiden award ceremony is being held in Ghana, as the late Mr. Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General of the United Nations, was an illustrious son of this country that is well known for his Pan-Africanism. And I want to also especially thank His Excellency, the President, for really giving us and accepting that this award take place and happen here today in Ghana, and for making the time to be with us. Thank you very much, Mr. President, Your Excellency. Curbing road deaths and injuries worldwide was one of several noble causes that Mr. Annan championed. It is therefore apt to associate his name with this initiative that seeks to recognize countries and organizations that contribute significantly to road safety in Africa. Let me at the outset once again thank the government of Ghana for hosting this event just as we're coming out of the COVID-19 crisis. This is an eloquent testimony of Ghana's commitment to saving lives on Africa's roads. Let me also thank my friend and colleague, Mr. Jacques Todd, for fighting tirelessly for road safety on the continent, going from coast to coast on the continent to ensure that all governments and leaders, civil society and private sector, take the issue of road safety seriously. Thank you, Jean, for all the work that you're doing. And finally, to the Kofi Annan Foundation for being involved in this award initiative, which will sustain the legacy of Mr. Kofi Annan as a road safety champion. Thank you very much for being here. Mr. Annan once said, what governments and people don't realize is that sometimes the collective interest, the international interest, is also the national interest. Road safety is a collective interest. It is an international interest, and it is also a national interest. Why do we say that? On the continent today, we have some countries that spend anywhere between 5 to 15% of their GDP addressing road safety incidents. We have just heard the numbers, appalling numbers, numbers that during COVID times we will wake up and think we need to fight collectively. But road safety is not a national problem only. It is also an international problem. For if a bad car leaves other shores and gets to Africa and causes accidents, it becomes a national problem from an international cause. And we must look at it as a collective interest to ensure that the supply chain of car manufacturing, car shipment, car testing, and finally car driving, all together that account for road safety, are taken into account. So this is an international interest. This is our collective interest. We just heard the numbers. It is our youth that are mostly dying from road safety. If we talk about a demographic dividend on the continent, but then allow for our youth in those appalling numbers to continue dying or being maimed because of road safety, then there is no demographic dividend for Africa. We must react, and we must act now. This event comes at an important time as well. It comes at a time when Africa is just coming out of a crisis, the COVID crisis, an economic pandemic, and of course, a new conflict very far away from the continent, but which is going to have untold consequences for our economies. For us to be able to combat all of these crises, we must also look at road safety. As I just said, 5% of some of our GDP is spent addressing road safety issues, either the accidents, the maimed personnel who need to continue to live on but have injuries that are severe, and or the families that are shattered because of road safety accidents. These are jobs that we lose. These are jobs that are never created. So road safety is an economic issue, and it must be taken as such. The World Health Organization estimates that the cumulative number of deaths from COVID-19 in all of Africa is 169,711. The cumulative deaths from road safety is 300,000. So if we saw the reaction of our governments to COVID-19, we are demanding the same kind of reaction for road safety. And we know that if we come together with the same kind of response, we will have an equally strong and sophisticated reaction to road safety. Ghana is one of the countries that did very well in addressing the COVID-19, so it's no surprise that we're here today to talk about road safety. And we hope, Mr. President, that Ghana will continue to be a beacon showing the importance of road safety. Today we talked about the need for the African continent to pass a resolution that demands that no used cars should get to our continent when they have not passed a test in the countries that they're coming from, because one of the beginnings of road safety accidents is the used cars that come to our continent that have not been sufficiently tested. So we are asking you, Mr. President, to please help us sponsor a bill at the African Union that would allow for this to be passed as one of the conditions, that testing must happen in Europe, in Asia, or in the United States before the cars come on the continent. Just like we've done with COVID, ensuring that we get vaccines that are long enough, that have a long shelf life that we can use on the continent, we must do the same for cars. They must have a long enough shelf life so that we can ensure that they protect our citizens. The second issue that I want to talk about, so the first is ensuring that we get good cars that come to the continent, and that at the African Union level we can harmonize standards for that. The second is funding. Ghana is one of the countries, of course, and thank you again, Mr. President, for your leadership, that is providing the right amount of road safety funding to ensure that there is a sufficient amount of, first of all, policing of the road safety, but also that people are aware of it. We would like for many more African countries to be able to allocate at least a sufficient amount of their budget for road maintenance and road investments in road safety. We have seen in many countries that investing in education on road safety, particularly for children at a very young age, leads to very successful results further into as they grow up and begin to drive cars. It is encouraging that many countries are beginning to look at education around road safety and beginning to fund their road funds. Ghana, Guinea, Ethiopia, Cameroon are all countries that have examples of how well road funding and road safety can work. Finally, in terms of finance, I would like to talk about how we can raise additional resources. We know that the UN Road Safety Fund is part of the process of trying to ensure that we can help countries like Tanzania and Uganda and Rwanda to build better road safety projects. Finally, the second challenge I would like to highlight is how we can ensure that as we work together to test cars and ensure that cars that are tested get to our continent, on the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, we have done a study that shows that for the AFCFTA to work, we need about 2.2 million trucks to take goods from point A to point B on the continent. Those are jobs that will be created, but those trucks we must ensure are not trucks that have been used and are trucks that will cause accidents on our continent, but that those trucks create sustainable jobs, move goods from point A to point B, and see that Africa can realize the African Free Trade Area Agreement in a way that is healthy and in a way that is sustainable.
My pleasure to join you in Accra as we launch the first Kofi Annan Road Safety Award for Africa. Almost 20 years ago, in 2003, Mr. Kofi Annan presented in his quality as the Secretary General of the United Nations his first report drawing attention to the major obstacle of road traffic crashes. He was among the first to recognize this carnage as a grave international development issue. I'm honored today, in my role of the United Nations Secretary General Special Envoy for Road Safety and as a friend of Kofi Annan, to carry on his legacy. It is with deep pride to celebrate the outcomes of this first Road Safety Award and to support diligent actions towards improved road safety in his country, Ghana, in Africa, and worldwide. In his 2003 report, Kofi Annan called for urgent action for road safety, saying that to date, road safety has received insufficient attention at the international and national levels. He informed the UN General Assembly that this has resulted in part from a lack of information on the magnitude of the problem and its preventability, a fatalistic approach to road crashes, and a lack of political responsibility. 20 years later, as we begin the second decade of action for road safety, I can honestly say that considerable progress has been made globally to save lives on the roads. However, we have still a lot of work to do to fully realize the vision of Kofi Annan. We have secured more attention. Reducing road fatalities are now included in not one, but two Sustainable Development Goal targets under Goal 3 to improve health and well-being by halving road deaths and injuries, and under Goal 11 to ensure inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable cities by providing access to safe, affordable, and sustainable transport for all by 2030. The task remains enormous, particularly in Africa, facing the highest per capita rate of road crashes fatalities. Every day, about 745 deaths occur on Africa's roads. According to projections from WHO, if current trends continue, road fatalities in Africa will increase by 88%, from approximately 272,000 in 2018 to 514,000 in 2030. We know how to bring these numbers down. In 2003, Kofi Annan was also the one who called for a system approach for road safety. He called on us to identify all the risk factors that contribute to road crashes in order to reduce their consequences. We know that the system is now. We need safe vehicles, safe roads, more access to safe mobility, better road user behaviors, strong road safety management, adequate post-crashes response, and proper enforcement. We need to implement initiatives that we know works, such as protecting the most vulnerable road users like youth, pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists by establishing low-speed zones in urban and school areas, as well as adopting laws on seatbelt and child restraint use. In Ghana, vulnerable road users make up around 70% of people killed in road traffic crashes every year. Effective enforcement of helmet laws can reduce head injuries. Motorcycle use is rising rapidly around the continent. Motorcyclists are 26 times more likely to die in a road crash than vehicle occupants. Wearing a motorcycle helmet can reduce the risk of death by 42% and severe injuries by nearly 70%. Yet only 6 countries in Africa have both a comprehensive law and helmet standards. Africa is seeing the fastest urbanization in the world. Sustainable mobility must be included in urban planning, where multimodal, connected, green and safe transport are measures of a smart and resilient city. We must ensure minimum safety and environment standard for used and new vehicles, as we discussed in the webinar this morning and as it was reminded by my colleague and friend, Vera Songwe. According to and implementing new road safety conventions provide a strong regulatory framework. We need much bigger emphasis on quality data an area in which most African countries are lagging behind. The African Road Safety Observatory, supported by the African Union, is a commendable effort to address this. Finally, leaders everywhere, including Africa, must recognize that the returns on investment are exponential. Achieving road safety leads to improvements to public health, climate change, human capital, economic growth, development, and much more. The purpose of the Kofi Annan Road Safety Award is to strengthen our commitment in Africa. I hope this series of awards throughout the new decade will inspire systematic and sustainable changes that Kofi Annan dreamt of many decades ago. Wouldn't it be remarkable if during the UN high-level meeting on road safety, which will take place early July in New York, that African leaders come to New York to announce their solid plans to deliver? Wouldn't it be remarkable if in this new decade of action, Africa, the region most affected, becomes the trailblazer in our journey to save lives on the road? I'm confident that with the support of all the stakeholders, we can build the strongest team ever to address road safety, and here today should be the start under the presidency of the President of Ghana through the Kofi Annan Award. Thank you.
Dear Vera, the Special Envoy of the UN Secretary General for Road Safety, cher Jean, dear Kojo and members of the Kofi Annan family, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great privilege and honor to be here today in my capacity as chair of the Kofi Annan Foundation and to participate in the first Kofi Annan Road Safety Award ceremony. It is very fitting that this award should bear the name of our founder. As some of you may know, Kofi Annan was supposed to attend the first workshop back in August 2018 here in Accra on road safety. Vera, Jean, myself arrived some hours earlier to wait for him, and then the night before he passed away. So thank you, Jean, and thank you, Vera, for your commitment and leadership to carry his legacy forward. We all have heard, there is no doubt that Kofi Annan was committed to this cause because of its very nature, because of Africa, because of the world. But he particularly also wanted to work with you. And I witnessed, many a time, that he wanted to, make sure that your schedules and agenda match so that we do it together. So thank you for carrying this forward. Road safety was an issue when Kofi Annan particularly cared about. He was UN Secretary General when the General Assembly adopted the first ever resolution on the matter, and that is back in 2004. And as you already said, Jean, the first report to the Assembly on this issue, in which he regretted what he saw as a fatalistic approach to road crashes and a lack of political responsibility. He then put great energy and heart and his unique political skills at the service of this cause. His push that road accidents are not accidents, road accidents are no accidents, contributed to garnering the political will across the world that is needed to address the scourge of road crashes. His commitment is undoubtedly linked to the recognition that this scourge affects the most vulnerable first and most severely. Not only do the poorest countries fare the worst in terms of the number of casualties and road deaths, but in each country, it is the people from the lower socioeconomic backgrounds who are most likely to suffer in road crashes. These are the pedestrians, the cyclists, the disabled, and the children. They run the highest risks on our roads. The vision of the Kofi Annan Foundation is precisely to contribute to building a peaceful and fairer world where no one is left behind and where progress is achieved through partnerships across sectors and through international cooperation. This award is an excellent example of such partnership. Leaving no one behind is key if we want to achieve the SDGs targets to have global road deaths by injuries by 2030. In addition to the loss of loved ones, the road crashes place a heavy burden on both national economies and households, as many of the victims are young and economically active people who are providing for their families and relatives. We heard the numbers, but numbers and statistics alone do not tell the stories of loss, the stories of grief, the stories of economic hardship that families are left behind with. We need to remind ourselves then that behind each unit of the statistic, there is the story of a member of a family, a story of a human being, a face of a son, a daughter, a mother, a father that we have to put on it. As Vera already said, road traffic deaths and injuries in low and middle income countries cause economic losses of up to 5% of GDP. In Africa, the situation is particularly severe due to rapid urbanization, motorization, and also population growth. The good news, as highlighted by you, Jean, and Vera, is that we have the solutions to help prevent this unnecessary suffering. And Kofi Annan's life's work was all about prevention, preventing conflicts, preventing hunger, preventing diseases from taking hold. He knew that to prevent road injuries and fatalities, road safety needed to become both a public health and a development priority in Africa. The main objective of the Kofi Annan Road Safety Award is precisely to raise awareness about road safety and motivate key stakeholders, government, the private sector, and civil society organizations to develop and implement innovative and outstanding initiatives to save lives and alleviate human suffering on our roads in Africa. I congratulate all awardees. The initiatives show that we can promote safe, healthy, and equitable mobility for all, and that strong partnerships can make real difference at the local and national level. Let me make a wish that together today, they will inspire others, and this first Kofi Annan Road Safety Award will be followed by many others. Let me thank you again, Mr. President, for your leadership and support. Let me thank you also for always welcoming us and providing us this enabling environment, to promote, these very important issues, not only for Ghana, but for Africa and then for the whole world. And let me thank very, very, very sincerely both you, Jean and Vera, not only in your official role, but in your personal capacities and commitment and leadership on these issues. And thank you again for making this ceremony a reality. Thank you very much.
Excellence in the implementation of the Africa Road Safety Action Plan 2011 to 2020 goes to the Republic of Ghana. Let's put our hands together. And the Honorable Kweku Ofori-Asiama, Minister for Transport, will receive this on behalf of the Republic of Ghana. This way, sir. Congratulations. Four more, sir. The second award is for leadership in the ratification of the Africa Road Safety Charter. The Kofi Annan Road Safety Award goes to the Republic of Namibia. Congratulations. Her Excellency Salma Ashipala Musavye, High Commissioner of the Republic of Namibia, will receive. Her Excellency, please. They want, Her Excellency, please turn around so they can take the picture of you. Yes, there you, yes, yes. The cameras are this way. Thank you. Thank you very much. The Kofi Annan Road Safety Management goes to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Honorable Chibuike Rotimi Amaichi, Minister for Transport, will receive this on behalf of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Congratulations. The last, road safety data management, and the winner is the Kingdom of Morocco. And to receive this is Mr. Benassir Boulajoul, Director General, National Road Safety, the Kingdom of Morocco. And the final award, after which the Mbalula will stay on the stage, and then the other 4 awardees, please step up after he's taken his photo so that you join the president for a group photo. So the other 4 awardees, please join the president. So can we have the others on our former speakers just come up and join them? Please, awardees, stay as we welcome the Mr. David Villa. Please join them. Dr. Vera Song. Mr. Todd, please make the presentation again. They want to see you present the helmet to the president. Thank you. All right. Nice big photo. Please smile where the cameras are. Thank you.